Hey guys, welcome back! We have returned to our wonderful new ship, and as lovely as it is, it could stand to be a bit more decorated and detailed to really bring it to life. After all, what good is a ship and dock if as soon as you climb aboard, it's just an empty shell? So today I'm hoping that we can at least get started on filling this place out, and I think it only makes sense to start with this top deck and the captain's quarters. It's the most immediately visible area, so a perfect place to start, and I'm not sure that any self-respecting captain would want to sleep on the floor, so we should probably get that sorted. So let's grab some blocks and get decorating. Now that is a bit more lively. You can't see a ton of the detail from down here on the dock because it's mostly low level, but even with just being able to see stuff through the fence, it still feels much fuller. And of course, once you actually get on board, the difference is a lot more obvious. So down on this main deck, we have a stack of cargo ready to be loaded onto carts on the dock. We've got storage for ropes and other various bits and bobs that might be needed for sailing. We've got the windlass for lowering and raising the anchor. And we've also got some cannons, because even though this is a merchant ship rather than a pirate ship, they do still need some defences to discourage anyone from trying to attack them when out at sea. Then up here we've got our helm for steering the ship, some more storage, and of course our compass and notes to make sure that the helmsman knows both where we are and where we're going. And finally we have our captain's quarters. So as soon as you come in, the captain's desk is right in front of you with a nice big chair and probably some very impractical ornaments. How many times do you reckon these have fallen off during a storm? Probably far too many, unless they're screwed into the desk, which would make probably a bit more sense. Then over on the left side we have a little library. I imagine most of these books are like atlases and maps of the world and nautical books, but I reckon there's probably at least a few fiction books tucked here and there for those quiet nights out at sea. And finally, over on the right side, we have the captain's bedchambers. It's nothing fancy, but it's just for them, so that's pretty much a luxury in and of itself. Plus, they have plenty of storage for any of their personal items they might have brought with them, so all in all, it's a pretty cushy room. And I believe that is the top deck pretty much done. So I think it's time to head down one floor and see if we can make this shell of an area into something much more presentable. And from an empty shell, we now have a lovely middle deck with plenty of function and also a pretty nice vibe. So the corridor itself is pretty wide to allow lots of people to get past each other and also bring any cargo up from the cargo hold without constantly bumping into things, but tucked in some of the more out of the way places, we do have some nice paintings and little bits of decor to brighten the place up. Then straight ahead we have two rooms, and the first one is a sort of a common room, I suppose, with some sofas and plenty of books for anyone who's a bit bored in whatever downtime they've managed to get. But honestly, I feel like this place is mostly just a place for people to crash on the sofas after a long day and have a good laugh together with all of their fellow crewmates. Then just next door we have the navigation room. There's a filing cabinet for all of the paperwork, we have cartographer tables for people to make and amend maps as they sail around, and then right in the middle we have a map of Castletown, including the ship and some of the surrounding waters. Now I will definitely have to update these maps once we've actually built more of the upper tiers, but that's easy enough to do, and I love the idea that the captain and the helmsman and everyone have laid out this map, probably mostly to make sure they actually avoid any of the surrounding icebergs. And as we head back to the corridor, down both sides we have plenty of bunks for all of the crew to get some rest. They are quite cramped and don't really have much by way of luxuries, but they are good enough for a quick kip before a storm inevitably blows through and it's all hands on deck. We do also have two of these little washrooms, and I know they are incredibly unrealistic. I mean, it's not like this ship would have plumbing, but I just wanted a little bit of variety and I thought this works quite nicely. And then towards the back we have two larger rooms, and this one on the left is for the head chef of the ship, because we all know that you do not want to annoy the person who's in charge of the food for the foreseeable future, so I think they would probably get their own bunk. And then on the right we have the first mate's quarters, because I think they also deserve to have just that bit more privacy. And finally, right at the back we have the mess hall. Now admittedly there isn't much by way of seating in this mess hall, we only really have these couple of bar stools, but I think most people would probably either take their food to the common room, their own room, or they would probably just be eating on the job. On a ship this size, space is definitely a commodity, so wasting a bunch on a dining hall just felt a little wasteful. But the kitchen itself has everything it needs. We have ovens for baking bread and cakes, we have grills for meat and vegetables, and a very well stocked and well organised pantry to store enough supplies to keep everyone fed during long journeys. But with that, our middle deck is complete. I do think I eventually want to add a ship's cat down here because I think that would be a lot of fun, but I don't have a cat to hand right now, so I think we'll have to leave that for another day. And speaking of another day, next episode I think we will tackle the final deck of the ship and possibly add a bit more life with some strategic use of armour stands. But we'll have to see how that goes next episode. Until then, thank you guys for watching, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye!